Well, all right. Well, all right. I love to come into a round of applause. I know we are out there on YouTube and, we're just watching, but I like to bring that in, people. So we kind of bring it into how it used to be when we used to watch Phil Donahue and those old shows back in the day. Sally, Jesse, Raphael, Geraldo, people, I can take you back. I can take you back. Those were the good old days of even talk. It's crazy how the world has changed. Today we have a great interview, but before we start that, people, this is Hot Facts Live interview edition. If you have not seen any of the interviews, make sure that you do go ahead to the playlist on the page. Just hit interviews there, or if you don't want to do that, you don't want to head to the page, you just want to find them quick on any search engine you are on, just type up Hot Facts interviews and you will see every single one. And if I have them set, the upcoming ones will be there also. Every interview was different. And I like that so people can click on them and find something different that they can listen to. This one is going to be a specialty, people, because it touches everyone everywhere. It does not matter where you are. Okay. If you bleed and you breathe, okay, it doesn't matter what language you speak. It does not matter. It goes on everywhere, and there's so many different realms on where it breaks down to. Now, I had the opportunity to hop in live, and this young lady here, Sherry Cardwell. People, I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a bit. She was speaking, and she mentioned something there, and I said, "Oh wow, I got to try to get an interview on this topic here, mental awareness," and she has agreed. So that's why we are here today. But right now, you do see that we have a guest there. For everyone that may not know, for everyone that comes back and watches these things after, I'm going to let the young lady go ahead and introduce herself. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you for having me. My name is Sherry Cardwell, and I have a YouTube channel on YouTube just with my name, Sherry Cardwell. I'm a retired nurse, and empty nester, and I stay at home.
Yes, yes, yes. Said stay at home and a former nurse. Now, what type of nurse were you there?
I mostly worked around rehabilitation and muscular dystrophy.
Rehabilitation and muscular dystrophy. I myself have had a chance to work with several clients that had some type of form of muscular dystrophy because you can have ataxia and you can have so slight different variations depending on which client you go ahead and get, and those sessions there are touching, especially when you are dealing with them and they're having a moment. When they're having a moment that is very, very, the very first time you go through it, people, and this is why going through a schooling to understand different type of disorders and things that may happen. Now we go through the schooling and you don't know when it's going to happen. So when it happens, it's going to be the first reaction on how you're going to deal with it. But it can be very touching at times and very very emotional, very very emotional. Um, Man, how long were you in the field?
Um, Actually, I started as a CNA my junior year of high school.
Okay, yep, CNA. You know what? Now, see, this is how times have changed because I remember when you were in school, when they said, "What are you going to do when you get out of school?" It was always, "I'm going to go into nursing," or that's how the care was in the society of America. It's crazy how it switched. So you start off as a CNA and go from there.
Yep. And that's exactly what I did. I did CNA work. I'd be telling my age, but it would be 1993 to 2003.
Okay, yeah,
And then
yeah.
I got my nursing license in 2003.
Okay. 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 Now, what made you want to go into the care aspect of humanity and life?
I just always have. I've always wanted to take care of people, especially the elderly. They have a place in my heart that, I love them and they needed to be taken care of. I wanted to be able to take care of my family when they get older, and I did until my grandpa passed away. Um, but I don't know. It's just in my blood. It's just in my blood.
Yes.
It's a hard thing to explain because I never thought of anything else.
We call that a gift. We
Yeah.
call that a gift.
Yeah.
Yes. We call that a gift. You have a gift now. Outside of your gift, on when you have a gift, first of all, we don't know what our gift is. You start to see things and you start to go through things in life, and your gift starts to materialize into what it is. Any personal experiences there growing up that you can remember as just you taking care of, or you seeing things that you want to be a part of that help, anything like that you can share?
Well, I've been in and out of the hospital a lot. But I think the main impact that I had was when I had my son.
Okay.
And I never even held a baby at that time. I was a young mom. And the nurse just left me and said, change his diaper. And I just started bawling standing at the carriage because I've never even done it before. And she came in and yelled at me. And
Mm,
that's not how you do it. I knew right then and there I did not want to be that kind of nurse. I wanted to educate, not
right.
ridicule or put down somebody.
Right. Yeah, because we get the doctors. The doctors go in there. They come in after everyone does their thing. But the nurse traditionally
Mhm.
has a mother figure personality and all of that. It's kind of, yeah, I get exactly what you said. And when you're young and you experience that, it's really not cool. I had an incident with the dentist when I was like 5. Dentist Mike. Me and my brother used to hate going to dentist Mike because he used to slam us in the chair and do all of this other things. Yes, and that we never went back to dentist Mike, but
Mhm.
that was my experience with the dentist. First you get them when they come to your school with the fluoride thing. Back in the day, they teach you how to fluoride and all that. So they're getting you excited to want to go to the dentist. So then when you go to the dentist, you have angry dentist Mike who slams you in the seat, and they do all that, and a lot of people are afraid of the dentist. So if you go through that experience and you are afraid, it's gonna put a whole lot up here for a long time. Let me tell you that. Now, Sherry says she has a YouTube channel. Yes, she does. People, you can go over there, type up her name, Sherry Cardwell. Just type it up. She goes live frequently, and you can get up there and talk about anything. Now we will get into the YouTube thing there, but I like this nursing thing because it's going it's telling you a little bit more about you. From a long time ago you said it's just in me, I've just been doing it. Now I want to, when it came time for you to go and apply to get a job, how old were you, and what was that process like?
Are you talking any old job or the nursing
for,
field?
for the CNA, when you started off, like, what was the
Oh,
process to, from, you had the gift, but now that you have the gift, you have to go get a job to really execute your gift.
right, right.
When did you get that first job, and how
Well,
was that?
actually, it was really easy because it was all set up through the school. It was like a career center kind of thing. You go to normal school half the day, and then the other half, you go into these classes to be a CNA. And then you have clinical hours that you have to fill. So after
Hmm.
class, we would go to these clinicals. And then by the end of the semester, you would take your exam and you would become certified. And that facility got to choose whether or not they kept you or not. So it was
Okay.
really easy. So
Right,
I
right.
used to
And
stay at the same
yeah, go
facility.
ahead. Yep, and that's pretty much that's how it works, people. When you're doing your internships, once you get done with school and do your thing, those clinical hours or what she's talking about, that's still school, people, but it's practical. You're actually getting your hands on and doing things like that. So that's cool right there because you get the school part done and then you can actually apply it and see it, and that's where the excitement comes. That's where the excitement comes right there. Now, did you have any aspirations of RN or doing anything else like that?
Yes. My main goal was to be a flight nurse, which
Okay,
is
okay,
which is in the helicopter.
yes.
So
Oh
that
wow.
was my ultimate goal, but it's a lot of education, a lot of education. So, but like I said, I had my family young, so I actually had my CNA and then I had my kids and then I went back to college for my nursing
Okay, okay. Got your
while they
kids.
were in school.
So you went back. You went back. So you missed it. Correct. Correct. You missed it and said, you know what? This is really what I do.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. I had to wait
go
till
ahead.
my kids got into school. That way I could go to my classes and stuff. So, yeah.
Right. Right now, on that live when I was in there, and you mentioned that you said I don't work. I stay at home. Some mental things there. So take me through that right there because that was the first thing that popped in my head. I said, "Whoa, all right." So I like to discover, because things like this can help people. Take me that statement right there. What was that statement about?
Are you talking about the mental impact
Yeah. Yes.
that it took? It was it's still hard to explain to people that haven't gone through it, but it's a grieving process because all of a sudden I've been able to do this since I was young, and then bam, the doctor's telling you you can't do what you love anymore. I mean, it's and I've helped people my whole entire life. So I go from that to being at home, and my kids, I believe, were getting near leaving the home. So it was like you almost don't feel needed anymore. Does that make any
Mm,
sense?
yes. Now, if you can take me in, what happened? And what happened? And why did the doctor tell you you cannot do what you've been doing anymore?
I was born without a lung. I don't have a right pulmonary artery. So I've always had trouble breathing and stuff like that. And then in my 20s, when I was pregnant, my doctor was really worried about me because I was in the hospital for being on oxygen and stuff like that for me and the baby. And he even told me, he's like, the next time I see you, one of you is going to be gone. And that was in my 20s, but I never really understood what was going on with me. I just knew when I was an infant, I was in the hospital for the first year of my life at Riley in Indianapolis. And they didn't even know what was wrong with me. They diagnosed me with failure to thrive because this is not normal. So the doctors have
Mm,
never even heard of what I had. So in my 30s, the doctor discovered that my heart has shifted over to my other side. And I was like, well, why hasn't anybody ever caught that before? Because I mean, I'm constantly getting chest x-rays, right? That
yeah,
comes along with it.
EKGs. Yeah, you're getting the EKGs. You're getting the X-rays. Now,
Yeah,
did they say if your
exactly.
heart
Exactly.
was it oversized? Did they say your heart was oversized?
My doctor brought the x-ray in and said, look, your heart is on the wrong side. And I was like, well, why didn't anybody else ever catch this? And he flat out looked at me and said they probably thought that they put the thing in backwards, the film in backwards. But it
Mm,
literally is on the other side, and the whole mediastinum is shifting. My spine is shifting, everything, because there's all this space over here. So to listen to my heart, you actually have to listen to it over here instead of over here.
right.
So,
So one lung, one lung. You were born with one lung, and the doctor said that when you come back, your kid, one of you is not going to be here anymore.
mhm. And now I'll tell you the day that I entered the hospital. I was working at midnight. I always worked midnights. I'm up at night. And I was having trouble walking the halls. I couldn't even walk the halls to do my job, which is very dangerous. Um, so I left right from my job to the ER, and I got entered in the hospital. And my doctor flat out told me, if you don't give this up, which taking care of the elderly, the sick, well, of course, they're going to get me sick very easily. So, and he had been telling me, you need to get out of this field. You need to get out of this field. And I just could not leave. And then when it came down to that, he's like, you're not going to make it to your 40th birthday. I can guarantee you, you won't. And I was 36 years old, and I was holding my brand new grandbaby. And I had to make a decision. And I had to go through the whole process. I went on FMLA from my job because he wouldn't even let me return one more day. He was like, you're done. And I applied for disability, and I got it within 2 weeks. Which, if anybody knows about filing disability, it's hard and it's a long process, and even appeals. But there was none in my case. So it's just...
Man, that's the only thing close that I can possibly even imagine of that, because me growing up, my heart's oversized, my on the left side, mitral valve prolapse. I was diagnosed with gout at 18 months, had to learn how to walk all over again. I have a kidney disease that's not curable. They told my mom, and she tells this story all the time. They told her that when I turned 40 years old, I might not be here, because of how the IgA neuropathy, how it works. I lose protein when I urine. So they found blood in my urine. So, they were going through all of that. And by exercising and all that other stuff, it kind of kept it in check, which is why I went into my kinesiology and the other side, because I have a close passion to it. And then my mom's been jacked up with everything. But my son, when he was born, he passed away a couple years ago. He has truncus arteriosus. And, your heart, you got 4 chambers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have 2 trunks on the bottom. Instead of having 2, it was 1 large truncal valve. And then he had a hole in his heart. His ventricles were not closing correctly, so they were leaking calcium from his ventricles. So my son was in the hospital for it seemed like forever. My wife, she just walked in. She's still, it's still here like crazy for her, because we were going back. He almost passed away a couple times on the operation table. And the luckiest thing was, it was weird. The surgeon who does it, Dr. Gates, he's the only surgeon. He invented the surgery. So my son was actually able to get the surgery from him, and he was going all the way good until this COVID thing hit. COVID, when the virus went in, it attached itself to, there's a washer that connects from, it's not human, so it attached in there, and it learns how to duplicate itself and get stronger and stronger. And that's what it did, and that's how my son passed. I saw it was 9 kids in 13 days passed away up in the hospital at Loma Linda Children's Hospital that day. That was crazy. But as far as being born with, missing, and other things like that, that was my son right there. And I can just imagine you saying you're going back and forth, and you're going back and forth to the hospital for a long time, like your whole life up to then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I used to go to school, and I have to wear the heart monitor, and have all the wires on it, some of the kids, they'll make fun of you, because once they figure out that the reason why they're taking you out of class is for this and that. Did you have to go through any of that type of
Um,
mental beatdowns and abuse from the kids?
no, the only thing I ever got really teased about is that, like in gym class, I hated gym because I couldn't, and they'd make fun
Right,
of me because I was always short of breath. I didn't have
right.
that stamina.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it's
So,
like when they have to try to make it, when it's the mile testing day, and
yeah.
all yes, all of that other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
I literally, we had to do that mile test, and I had choir the next subject, and I literally fainted, and they had to carry me to the bathroom. And I was so embarrassed because I've never done that. You
mm,
know what I mean? So it's just, yeah. But I mean, it wasn't bad because I didn't have to wear any special equipment. I looked just fine. Nobody would ever know.
right, right.
So,
Yeah, and you know what? I'm glad you said that part. The no one would ever know because they had to before the technology got there. They had these giant. Remember how those old phones used to be the giant block ones? The heart monitor used to be as large as that, and then the wires would come out, and then it's like it had no. The kids were gonna find out regardless because then it'll look like something is trying to explode out of my clothes. But when technology got good, it was able to be smaller and all that
mhm.
other stuff there. Now the oxygen thing, my son was on oxygen for a long time. So everywhere we went, we had the home oxygen at home, because he had to stay connected to that for a long time. And then going out, we had the portable, not the portable that you can hold now right here. We had to
Right.
pull. You got to learn how to put it inside your car and all of that other stuff. And then when you have a family and there's like four of you guys, and then you got to put the oxygen inside the car and try to maneuver and like all of that stuff. And then
Mhm.
going out in public, me and my wife used to go to the store and we'll have the oxygen thing pulling up. People stare. I don't mind if people stare. I would just rather the people ask the question, you know what I mean, and not
Right.
just not
Right.
just stare. So we have to deal through we have to deal with that. When you've never gone through that, like my wife, we've never gone through that. So mentally, that can beat you down because you think, is there something wrong with this? Why,
Mhm.
why do people look at my child like this and like that? And certain times you go to the doctor visits, and you go into the other rooms, when you go into the other doors where nobody else goes and all that other stuff. So how was that for
Right.
you?
Um, I was fortunate enough to not have to go through that. My worst thing is if I'm having a really bad day and the air quality is bad and stuff like that, sometimes I do have to go and park in the handicap parking spot. And I get stares because I look like there's nothing wrong.
Talk about that. Talk about that. Talk about that, please.
A lot of people
Please.
have that problem. They're like, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Don't judge a cover by what they look like. You don't know what they're going through or what's going on in the inside. I mean, I hear that with problems with people with fibromyalgia, and you just people don't know, so they shouldn't automatically assume that you're taking up that spot just because you want to.
Right. And fibromyalgia, a lot of you guys may not know. I've had to work with people who have had fibromyalgia. When that kicks in, and they get those burning sensations and
Mm,
feels like fire, though that is not good. So people, you got to understand, it's not just the physical thing. Something like that can happen, and sometimes people, they know the sign when it's gonna start to flare. So if they're able to, oh, I gotta leave, that spot's there, they gotta get and go. If they gotta go to the emergency room and drive there because they know the feeling that those
hmm.
spots are there for things like that. It's not a whole lot of it's physical, and then there's mental things. Now with my son, my mom was always telling me and my wife, you guys should go and apply for the handicap sticker. But then in my head, I never did it. I never did it. And my wife, we never. we never really verbally spoke about it, but we have the same, like, we're not going to do it because someone's going to see you get out. Now, they don't see my son's all the big gash on his heart, and they don't know that he has the George syndrome. They just see that he'll look like a regular kid because if he's not on his oxygen, like when they completely took him off the oxygen, he just looks like a little kid. You'll have to look at him to see, okay, his left eye's a little lazy, things like that. Like you would have to really look at him. You would not know. So we go and just get out the car and we walk into a place. I did not want to have an altercation like that because of the fact of who I am. And I know if I get mad because of defending my son, like I did not want to put myself in that situation to where anything could have happened, because when you're going through it, you have not mastered how to control it yet. And you could have a bad day. You could have a bad day that day. So that handicap thing is real. Now, because of the lung. Now, first of all, let me go back. When the doctor said one of you guys may not make it, what was the outcome of that when you went back?
I mean, I still kept him as a family doctor, but he's no longer in my area. But I just told him myself that I'm going to prove him wrong, and I have.
Yeah, and kid fine, everything fine.
What is fine?
The child. So the child. So he was telling you that if you come back because you and the child.
Oh yeah. My son came out perfect.
Okay, so see, people, do not listen to all of that. I have a cousin, and he was born with a cerebral palsy, and right now, Joey is 36 years old. Joey should be 36 years old, and they gave a stupid timeline that was he was not gonna, and he's 30, and he's 36 years old. Now, I don't want to sound insensitive when I say this, but I can because it's my own family, because I'm not saying it in a mean or a ill-hearted way. They told him that, but in our family, we've had people that, all the way regular, and all of us first cut cousins, and he's here, and some of them are gone. And they told him that he was not going to be here. And I'm just using this as an example, people, that they can tell you one thing, and I'm using my family as a really close reference to let you see how they can say something and they just don't know. No one can play God. No one can play God. And a lot of things that happen is when a lot of people go to the doctors, and the doctors are telling them all of these bad things. Now, it's kind of like when you're watching these infomercials, when they're trying to get you to do these medication studies. They speak slow to say, oh, come on, we're looking for everyone. But at the end, and all that small writing, and what they say fast, there's like 1,000,001 bad side effects and all of this other stuff.
You have to take another med for.
You have to take another med for. And people, you don't realize that that's part of the system to keep you on something. And all those medications, when it goes into you, it messes up your mental, and something bad can happen. And I'll tell you what bad can happen. Now, when I was 8 years old, my mother used to drive the shuttle bus to pick up the elderly from their home and take them to their doctor's appointments, and all the stuff like that. So a trucker ran a red light, 18-wheeler, bad total wreck. Both shoulders, both hips had to be replaced. Then when they were putting her on the medication, she has her medicine cabinet is ridiculous. The medicine doctor put her on the wrong medicine first, started eating up her insides, her spine's getting jacked up, and all this other stuff. So my mom went crazy when I was 11 years old. Remember this like it was yesterday. Took a whole bottle of codeine and some Hennessy to try to put herself out of her misery. Now, my mother grew up, my mother's a missionary evangelist in the church. So you gotta understand that if something takes you all the way like that, and then tried to take the whole bottle, first what happened, she did that, and she went to the bathroom and got the barber clippers and start cutting all of her hair off. started cutting all of her hair off, and then we didn't know what was going on. It was crazy. It was crazy. It like
Scary.
seeing that when that happened, and then my mom got into drugs, cheated in the marriage during all of this stuff with the medications and all of this stuff, just went psycho, and yeah, went psycho. So going and seeing all that mentally as a kid, seeing that, and then when you get to school, and then because of all the prescriptive drugs and all that, your mom has to go to a medical facility while you're in high school doing all your sports and stuff, and can't come to some of the games because then she has a stroke at the same time. So you know what I mean? And as of right now, she tries to do everything, but her medicine cabinet is still ridiculous. But she knows which one she has to take because of how severe the things are now, and she now knows, and it's sad to say, she knows which medications not to take at all, even though they were prescribed. You know what I mean? Even though they
Yep,
were
I know
prescribed,
exactly what you mean.
not to take at all. And it's a shame on these doctors that they know these things, and a lot of them they put themselves through so much school and so much debt that their fix themselves scheme is just to prescribe, but they don't know the mental damage that this does to people. Not only adults, they are prescribing little kids with a lot of different things, and it's making these little kids go through a lot of these mental issues there. What is your take on the whole the prescription drug take, and how it can really take your mental stability away?
Oh, it can, because like you said, each medication has side effects, and you got to make a decision: is that side effect worth what that regular medicine was for in the first place? Like I was subscribed something, and it made me so dizzy I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't even stand up. So, of course, I'm going to stop that medication, which I shouldn't. My doctor told them, and that's the nurse and me taking care of myself. But I mean, they do. They push all these medications, and then they have to resubscribe something to cover the side effects of that medication. So, what
Right.
I randomly do, which this is just me, I sit there and decide exactly what you were talking about. Which ones do I necessarily have to have? And then I forget the rest because they're not worth the side effects. Oh, I don't know what I hit. Sorry about that.
No, you're all right.
So it is. It's certain medications can cause psychosis in some patients. So it's like, is that worth a blood pressure? There's other medications that the doctor can try versus doing that all the time. So, I mean, if anything, I would say try everything natural that you can until you actually have to do something. And a lot of times the side effects do go away, but sometimes they don't. And so it's just, they're unbearable. And I always say it, but quality over quantity. That's where you got to get to your mental capacity and be like, okay, is this the way I want to live my life? All messed up, dizzy, and all this? Or do I want to live my life and have a quality in it? So
Right.
you have to make those decisions for yourself, but you should, as a nurse, I'm telling you to contact your doctor.
Right. And people, the doctors will try to do that, people, but coming from my field, we would regularly, we would want you to come and exercise and do it that way, because TTMA, TBF, train the mind and the body follows. You do those things. You got to remember your brain is a muscle. Everything is on the inside. When you are doing those things, now it cannot cure everything, but it is something that can prevent, and it is something that can keep things in check. So just know that. Just know that. Now, Nitro Freak, good evening, Nitro Freak. I got to sit down with you about these cars, man. I was very intrigued about a $7,000 RC car. That made me. I was like, made me want to go see more about that one. Now, Nitro Freak says the VA does that to us veterans, pumps us full of meds. Well aware of that now. Now, what I can do right here, Nitro Freak, because that goes along with here. If you can, I would love to get your take on that part really quick. Let me do this. I would love to get your take on that real quick. If you have any time, if you can just hop in really quick, I would love that. There's a link there. If you can hop in whenever you can, because I wanna hear, see, because this goes into, now I go when I'm doing my food delivery, my Uber Eats and picking up these things. We go to CVS and pick up for a company called Script Drop. We go and pick up the medications, and we take it to their homes. Now we have the March Air Force Reserve Base here, and they have a lot of homes there for the veterans there. And I'm taking over prescriptions, and there's a lot of people when you hear them speak, when you go there, you hear them talk about, I don't want to take this and all this other stuff. So I would love to get from someone on the military side to speak up about that a little bit, because that is mental awareness right there. But at this same time, we have the prescription game is real. So you go into the doctor trying to, and you go in there, and mentally, when they tell you these things, it tears you down. Then you got to take all these pills and watch these commercials and do this. It tears you down. Then it puts you into a false reality of you walking around. You try to, I don't know if people realize it, but some people will act the symptoms when they don't even know if they have them, because they're coming into it like, do I have this?
Pseudo effect.
You know what I mean? So you got that, and that is that can really wear you down mentally. Okay, Nitro Free. Okay, he's coming on in. He's getting set on up there. Let me go ahead and bring him in.
Okay.
How you doing, sir?
Hey, I don't know if you guys can hear me. Give me 1 second. My computer.
No, you're good.
My computer's locked up. I'm still on the StreamYard side. It's still loading.
Oh, okay.
Give me 1 minute. It's trying to catch up here.
Okay, yeah. So
there we go.
There you go.
What's going on, sir? Good to see you.
No problem. No, we're talking about the thing. Talking about so Sherry says hi there. So we're talking about this medication thing and pumping them up. And your comment there, they're pumping. You're pumping you guys. Go into that. What you got to say about this?
Man, I could give you good stories about that. Just personal things that have happened to me. So, yeah, most veterans out there, if you're ever to talk to any of them, they can tell you the VA is very notorious for always prescribing a ton of meds. And they usually, most everybody knows about veterans after our military service. We always have different multiple problems, whether it's problems with your back, your knees, just, all kinds of physical things from, your active duty service. So naturally, when your military career ends and you're being, for veterans, we don't go to normal hospitals. We get free medical care through the VA. So they're the ones that take care of any issues that we acquired while on active duty. I mean, that's part of our military service. They are required to fix vets for any problems that they occurred while on active duty. And what they do is, anytime you go for a normal checkup, you tell them what kind of problems you're having, stuff. Like, I can give you examples. When I first started going, I had a lot of back problems, knee problems, shoulder problems. So naturally, they're going to prescribe you pain meds. And one of the big things that they were doing is they were giving us strong narcotics, which basically, you're having to be on all these narcotics to alleviate your pain, but you're high 24/7. Okay, like a lot of people take Oxycontin. Oxycontin is basically a narcotic. It's very, very strong. And what happens is a lot of veterans, they get hooked on these narcotics, And then when your prescriptions run out, all right, and they don't fill them, you're hooked on it. It's like a drug addiction. Then these guys, it's what causes them a lot to commit suicide, because what had happened is over the course of the past 15 years, so many veterans had been hooked on oxycodone and all the meds out there that are so powerful that you become addicted to them. And now what the VA is doing, they're trying to take all the veterans off of this stuff and re-prescribe them new stuff. But what's happening is, like in my case, they had me on a medication. I think it was called naproxen. All right, and it was supposed to be for my back pain. But what was happening is this stuff was destroying the lining of my stomach. I was actually having a allergic reaction to it, and I knew something was not right. I kept going back and telling them, look, you got me taking this medication 3 times a day, but I'm throwing up blood. It's making me sick. I can't hold anything down. And they're telling me, well, your body's probably adjusting to a new medication. I'm like, look, I know my body. I know when I'm taking something, when something doesn't feel right, it's not normal. And a lot of times they go against that, and they'll keep prescribing this stuff. And actually what had ended up happening is it was my wife was the one that had to look this stuff up online. All right. And when she looked it up online, there was a mile-long list of side effects that this stuff could cause. And everything that I had been experiencing was laid out in black and white right on the list of side effects. So, I kept going and telling them, look, I looked this stuff up. This is what's going on. And then they finally took me off it after I told them, look, are you still taking your meds? How's your back feeling? I'm like, I stopped taking that stuff months ago. It was killing me. And in that time, like in my situation, what had happened is the doctor that was prescribing that, my original primary care provider had retired. I ended up getting a new one. So when I got that new primary care provider, that's when I brought it up when I was having all the issues and everything. And that's when they finally decided to change it up and give me something different. But by then I had been on that stuff for so long, the damage had been done. There was no reversing it. Now, it's just like going into like the mental health side of it, like what you guys are talking about. I can give you another example. A lot of us veterans suffer from PTSD. Okay, it's a mental thing. So what happens is you go to your you'll have a separate mental health doctor, and you go see them once a month. They're giving you checkups. How you doing? You feeling suicidal? You feeling okay? You feeling good? Well, a lot of the medications that the mental health side of the house prescribes to a lot of us veterans turns us into zombies. You're no longer sociable. You're not active. I mean, it just opens up a whole new can of worms of what you got going on. That was another thing that I was battling for a long time. And I heard Sherry make this statement, which was the same thing that I did, is at one point in time, the VA had me on 21 different pills a day. And that stuff was just destroying me. And I got to the point where I'd been taking all this stuff for so long, believing the doctors, well, you need this, you got it, it's going to make you better. I stopped taking everything, except for some like Tylenol 3 that they were recommending for my back. And when I got rid of all that other stuff and just started taking the mild pain meds for my aching back, my knees, my shoulders and stuff, I was such a better person. I felt better. But when I was on all that other stuff, you felt like a fiending drug addict, or, you were so brought down in society. You weren't feeling good. You weren't mentally healthy and all that. And years it took of that going on. And you know, we have a saying in the military, which it's a fact, we have 22 veterans a day that take their lives. And a lot of it is because of the stuff that these guys are being prescribed. And a lot of times these VA doctors aren't looking deeply into it. They're not paying attention really to what they're prescribing to these guys, because they'll be prescribing you stuff that will interact with other medication that you're taking, and they don't catch it because you're on so many different things. It ain't until something happens that somebody looks into it and says, whoa, we got to get this guy off this stuff. And that's what was happening with me. I had to start going to see outside doctors, and then when I would give them a list of what I'm taking, it's like, well, why in the hell would the VA have you on this and this, when if they would have looked it up, you cannot take these two medications, you know, together in the same day, because it'll do this to you. And this is exactly what it's doing. You're having side effects of this because you got 2-3 different chemicals in your body that are counterreacting with each other, just basically eating you alive on the inside. It's like, you know, you got to stop this.
Yeah.
You know,
the pharmacy's doing a good job of doing that now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are where you are, but they list all the side effects. And then if there's a drug that interacts with another drug, they give a warning on there and even tell you when you check out, do you have any questions? Do you know that this interacts with this? And I mean, there's like a checklist.
They're finally doing that with me now. So now when I get my meds through the mail, see, I used to go and just get them right there at the VA when I went for my checkups. Now what I've opted out to do is I wait for them to send me them in the mail, because what they do when you get them in the mail, they give you a mile thick pamphlet of what this is, what, you know, side effects. And, you know, if you're taking it, you're experiencing this, stop, you know, get with your primary care provider and take another course of action. Before, they never used to do that. They would just say, hey, write up a prescription. You go downstairs to the pharmacy, pick it up, you walk out of the building with your pills and start taking them. Now, when you get them through the mail, because of all the stuff that's been going on, now they have to give you a booklet of every little detail about those pills, what they're going to do for you, or what they can do to you if they have crazy side effects that you might be allergic to. Because, you know, not every person in the world knows everything of what you're allergic to. It ain't until you start taking something, having a side effect of it, and then bring it up, or they test you for it and say, okay, well, we can't give you this because you're allergic to it. If you take it, it's going to kill you. I was actually taking something that I had severe allergic reactions to, but I didn't know what it was. You know, to me, not knowing, thought it was normal until I got tested for it. And it's like, you know, can't believe you were on this stuff for so long. You know, it's a wonder it didn't kill you. You know, they asked, do you know if you're allergic to anything? Well, no, I've never been tested. And it's not like every doctor does some kind of test to say, okay, are you going to be safe to take this? It's usually, okay, here's a small bottle of it. Try this. If it works and it makes you feel better, then let us know. We'll prescribe more of it. Obviously, we prescribe it to you. Something happens and it's wrong, then we got to get you off it and you know, try a different course of action with something else that's going to work for you.
Well, I ended up having to have kidney surgery because of a medication that I was on that caused problems with your kidney. And they were like, you should not be taking this. I'm like, I've been on it for years, but it built up, and then I ended up having to have surgery.
Well aware of that.
I had it scary. Now, when you work with someone that, like he said, he's got as many medications like my mom as they try to prescribe her. What does that do to you mentally, caring for someone when you see him going through all of these things, and you being a nurse and you know that they're taking all these things and you're watching them take? What does that do to you as a nurse, watching them take it and watching them have these things, and then you have to be reactionary to them from these effects? What does that do to you as a person mentally?
Well, as a nurse, we are a patient advocate for them. So we would be the middle guy between the doctor and the patient, and we would be like, look, we would have to catch those side effects and catch those reactions and let the doctor know, look, he's on this. Are you sure you don't want to subscribe this or something else? So my job as a nurse was to always have that judgment in my mind that I'm the advocate for that patient that I'm taking care of. Whether it's 30 or whether it's one, you have the same responsibility for each and every one of them. And you just go to the doctor flat out and be like, look, this is happening. We need to switch. We need to try something else. And they usually listen to us because we know our patients better than they do.
Right. Right. Now, what about when you go home? When you go home, you get to your own home. Any times where you just cry because you've left you left a situation, and then you go home and like, man, I just saw that person go through all that. You get home and cry and tear yourself down, or how does that, go
Um,
through?
well, again, as a nurse, you have to empathize instead of sympathize. And I learned that from the very beginning. And I was able to do that because if you sympathize with each and every one, I would lose my entire mind. Because like you always have to have that wall up for like if a patient's passing away and you're there, you're trying to help the family, you're trying to help the patient, you're making communications with the doctor and the hospice if they're included. You just have to put all our feelings aside. And then, like you said, once we get home, we do get attached to certain patients. And it breaks your heart to see them go through it. But it's not necessarily about what they struggle with side effects wise. It's the disease that's taking over that is sad. Because I know I'm doing my best to soothe the side effects, whether it's nausea or you get what I'm saying, but you just got to be able to empathize instead of sympathize. That's the only thing as a nurse, you have to put that wall up. And I learned that with the first patient that passed away. I learned that real quick as a CNA even. You have to put that wall.
Now that you got to put that wall, and you're dealing with yourself right now, and you can't do what you want to do. Where is that wall with you yourself? Because the empathy part for a patient, now the doctor has told you cannot do this. So where is the empathy? Break this down for yourself right now.
Well, when you get told that you're going to go at a short time, I made my peace with that. And so now I live each day is I beat them. I beat the doctors. Only God knows when it's my time. So you just learn real quick and you got to have no doubt where you're going to go after you're done. I'm okay if God takes me tonight in my sleep. I'm okay with that. But it's because I had to be quickly because I was put in that position. So, but it also makes me appreciate life too. So there's really no wall when it comes to me because I'm ready.
Man, people, you sound like my mom right there. People, a lot of you guys, especially the people that maybe that when you watch this back, for someone to say that, people, they have gone through, broke through, analyzed, got their faith right, went and got everything right, to be able to say that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people mentally how that is to be able to really say that. A lot of people we watch TV and you see these weird talk shows, or you'll even see in movies, though, I'm not afraid to go right now. I'll go if I go right now. But they're just saying that just to say it. Can you break down, mentally how that feels to really be able to really say it and know what you're saying?
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be sad about it, but it's a reality for me. So I had to face it. Where others, yeah, they just say it, but they're not actually facing it. So I just, do I get mad? Yeah. Am I scared? Yeah. I have normal feelings like everybody else, but it was presented to me. So it's just something that I have to accept. You have those 5 stages of grief. I'm still grieving not being able to be a nurse and helping people every day. I'm still grieving that. And it'll be 10 years next year, March 13th.
Mm.
And the grieving's not done. That's why I got on YouTube. Because
Yeah, perfect segue, because that's right where perfect segue. Go ahead.
no, I mean, I got on YouTube because I wanted to help people. And even if and they're not people I know. That's the same with patients. I didn't know them before I didn't become their nurse. I like to meet people. I like to if I can make one person smile a day, that's good. If I can help them connect with somebody that can help them, even if it's not me myself, if I can connect them to somebody that can help them, I've done my part. I have to figure out a new way to do what I was doing without actually having to get up every day physically and going to work. So I'm doing the best I can, and that's what I wanted from YouTube.
Right. Well, you did choose the right thing. And for the people that are going to be on now, this is streaming right now. It's streaming on Twitch. It's streaming here on YouTube on this channel. My channel that I really don't do anything with, it's streaming on there. It is streaming on the Facebook Hot Facts with Robert Reed's Facebook page right now. It's also in the group and their channel over there. So this is being streamed right now. So right now, people are watching it on other platforms. So they heard exactly what you said. So trying to help out and things like that. So if there's people that want to go ahead and click in and check into some of the lives that she has going on over there, you can ask some questions. Because as you see, the background and the medical field and everything, she can actually sit and speak to you and take care of some things with you. It's kind of like, triage people. If you guys have ever had a triage nurse and, they're, doing that thing, but this is actually visual. So if you have a question, you're going through some stuff like that, bam, that's the direction here. I want to let you know that it's streaming. Yeah, it's streaming. It's streaming right now. So yes, it's streaming right now. So it did get out there. Now, have you tried to set up with let's say any type of local groups in your area to where you can set up like a Zoom thing and speak to certain people or speak to a group? Have you tried to set up anything like that yet to try to get some more traction coming in your way like that?
No, right now just being on YouTube is breaking a lot of like barriers for me. Speaking in front of a camera, speaking in front of people. I'm used to that one-on-one interaction. So
Right.
to speaking to a large group, I don't know if I'd ever be ready. But I mean, I never thought I would go live on YouTube, much less be an interview. I'm still making those leaps out of my comfort zone.
Right.
But
How long have you had your channel? How long?
a couple months.
Okay, yeah, you're good.
No, I started in 2013 when I actually did have to retire, but all those are hidden. I just got back into it.
Okay, so this channel is the revamp. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm. Okay, so yeah, so that's not a few months now. Your lives are interactive. People are coming in, and people come in to listen. When they know they can hear anything and really get some good feedback, some good positive information from it and help. That's why you have a good following there. And normally, people when you're out there in public, grocery store, it doesn't matter if you're sitting next to someone and you're like, there was something about that person. How do they know about this that we're talking about? People, a lot of people go through a lot of things, and because they went through a lot of things, they have gone through the process to where they have learned, and now they can help now. So when you come across those people, they're there for a reason. It could be that you needed to hear some of those things that day, and it was missing out. Now you have now Nitro Freak brought up suicide. Suicide is very, very tough. I've had a bout. I remember when I was 16, I had a bout, and I felt like just doing it. You get in people when you have things internally going on with you, and then you have medical things going on with you. You know, it's not strange for someone to think that at times. People, if you can think of a happy thought, you can think of a negative thought. It's not strange for someone to have a thought. Okay, it's not bad for someone to have a thought. Sometimes you need that thought so that you can come back into the reality. You know, so sometimes you need that thought, because when you have a thought like that, there's gonna be some type of action with the thought that someone should be aware of when it happens. Whoever's around you should take notice, and if you're around good people, they'll notice that, and that'll bring you right back into the whole reality of things. Have you had one of those moments where you wanted to take yourself?
I can't sit there and lie. I mean, it has crossed my mind. Of course, I think it's crossed every mind at one certain time in their life, whether they're a teenager or they're the elderly. It's come across my mind. But well, let's just say this. I got the word faith tattooed, my only tattoo. And when I go through those times, and sometimes they're stronger than others, I just sit there and rub it. I just rub my wrist. You guys may have seen me on my lives doing it. I just sit here and rub it. And I got to remember that the people that I've lost before, I want to see again. And like I said, I know where I'm going when and if it happens, but I'm going to let God make that decision. Nobody else, not even myself.
That's right, people. That's a message out there. If anyone has got some urge, that last message right there is take that in. And like I said, like she said, got to keep it way real. Have had the thought. It is only human. It's only human. And you know, my wife has felt like that with my son. You know, when my son passed, we both had the same feeling. Like when we were watching him there on the bed, when they said, well, we can leave him hooked up to all these machines. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then my cousin's a pastor. My young cousin was there. He came and was like, look, we got to talk about reality and everything else right now. So when that was going down, I was trying to be super strong for everyone that was there, because I didn't want to see, you know, my wife's crying, my mom, everybody else is like. But at the time, I wanted to literally snatch him out that bed and jump in and do some damage to me and hook me up and take me. That's the way I felt. My wife at times still, she has bouts where it's going to come out of her mouth. You know, it's especially when it's, you know, right now when school starts back from summertime, when she sees the school bus come to pick up the kids, she's going to like it. She, you know, she has them, and I got to we are dealing with that. But I'll tell you this: all of the other stuff that I have to go through in life, if I didn't have to go through all that stuff, then I wouldn't know how to be prepared for this. You know what? When she's having these bouts, you know what I mean. It took a whole lifetime of everything I've done to get to right now, to where okay, kind of understand how to take care of these bouts, but at the same time, when they happen, sometimes if it's an explosion bout, you just have to let that happen. Sometimes you really can't do anything. And I like to see those let out there, because mentally, people, when you have a feeling like that and the urge is gonna come like that, if you bottle that in, that's like a volcano right there, and it's gonna bring out tears, and you have to get that out. You have to. If you bottle that up inside here, that giant S suicide thing is what a lot of people will try to do. So, when you feel, and this could be about anything, and some people say go take it out on the punching bag or different things like that. Sometimes people, you just got to go to an empty field and just let it out.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you got to go to an empty field and let it out. Then all the other things around that, you go and do something constructive to.
Yeah. They have smash rooms now that you can go into.
Say that again.
They have smash rooms that you can go into and
smash rooms.
Yeah, it's literally just a room filled with TVs. It's like a room. You can take a bat or whatever weapon you want and just tear the room apart. And I think that is the wonderfulest thing to have.
Oh, wow. You know what? I'm going to actually look up, and people, check this out. I'm going to look up the nearest smash room where I am. I'm going to take my wife to a smash room. That is a super great idea.
Mm-hmm.
You can take out, go to the smash room, let that out. Oh, you can let out more.
You can cry in there. You can scream in there. You can beat shit up. I mean, you could just get it out.
Oh, wow. Excellent. See, these are things that, they need to advertise these things more.
Mm-hmm.
They advertise these things more. It'll help out with a lot, because when you're in that smash room, I can just imagine. I can't wait now till I go. I can just imagine you get into it, because I played sports growing up, and when you get in that zone to where you're hot, you're on fire, you are in the zone. You'll get in there and really, from the smashing, the twisting, your core is moving, you're doing all this stuff. You're exerting a lot of energy physically and
That's why I said a lot of people end up crying, because they just feel they can feel that release.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Now, this channel of yours, how often are you going live? Let's let the people know. How often are you going live?
It's usually at least Monday through Friday, and then I started doing Saturday and Sundays because I enjoyed them. So I at least go every Monday through Friday.
All right, people. So that's a everyday thing. So go there and check that out. Now, this is a very, very great conversation here. Now, what I do with people when they come on here, how we met people, we met through the Guide community. And if you saw my live yesterday, people, go back and check out the live. I broke down how I actually use the Guide system myself, and this is how I use it right here. So, that community, when you go ahead and connect with someone that is a real person and is doing some real stuff, you find things like this. Okay, we make that connection, like the work over there, like the group of the people and the interactions. That's excellent there. So now that you've met HotFacts, you gave a full watch. You gave a full watch of a live. What do you think about HotFacts, the platform? Because my platform, I'm still in traction mode. A lot of people say, well, look at your sub count. No. I am in traction mode. I'm supposed to be in traction mode for a whole year. I'm in traction mode for a whole year. So I'm in the 6-month phase. So at the 6-month phase of what I got going on here. What do you think about the hot facts, the interview portion, and all that? Let's hear it from you.
I'm very happy I met you. I'm very blessed that I met you, and I appreciate you reaching out to me because I think you showed up in one of my lives and asked if you can interview me. And I was like, okay, I didn't know, but I do. I went back and looked, and it's really good. It's really good. Your name says it all. Hot facts. You tell it like it is. And I like that. That's why I like Nitro too.
and I was so excited when I got off that air, and I went telling my buddy the DoorDash Revolution. I said, man, he tells it like it is, and I love the stance. See, I have a lot of military friends. People have done 3, 4, 5 tours in Iraq in my family. My dad was in the Navy, uncles, all Army, Marine, Air Force. And I love, because that's the mentality right there. They don't leave anything out. Like, if it's on the table, we got to figure out how we can use it and work with it. I was so glad that I was able to catch up with him. And then, those Nitro, all those cars, the RC cars, that is, I'm a little kid whenever I hear trucks, RC cars, stuff like that, I said, oh, wow. So, that was very, very well. And Nitro, if you are still here, I want to hook up with you, my friend. Great. This was awesome for me. I will be a regular over there. So just let you know, I will be a regular over there.
He's got a good crowd.
Oh yes. Let the people know where they can find you at any other social media platforms. Shout out everything you got. Shout out the people you want to give some shout outs to. The floor is yours for all of this.
Oh my. There's so many people that I could shout out. Nitro is one. I don't want to miss anybody out.
All right. So just go to you and where they can find you at.
Okay. I'll say I'm not on any, believe it or not, I have not advertised on any other platform except for saying that I have a channel. I just main focus on the YouTube. But your channel is amazing. I went through your shorts. I went through your interviews. I went through yesterday's live. I'm sorry I didn't catch it live. I would like to say hi.
No, you're all right. You're all right. But see, I put up so many videos. It's hard to keep track on which one I'm on unless you do see it live. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, that's okay. You can go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say, but see how you said you check out the shorts. That's why I have them all. The lives are these, the shorts are these, and the videos are these. They're all separate, so you can click and see if you want to see how. And that's why I hope Kelly, clicks on. I hopped in his live earlier. I said hello. Hopefully he does click on my channel and he can actually see how Uber Eats and Walmart. If he can actually watch and see, because I put the numbers up there he can actually see, and I call out, he can actually see. You know what I mean? He can actually see that anyone can do that.
His head is just
do that. So
he's not. And I wish he would. I'll agree with you there. I wish he would.
I just wish he would. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I wish he would, because I have hundreds of videos there that can. Yeah, but
can you help me now? I appreciate you stepping in. Because it's been the same people that's telling them, and so he got to hear it from someone that's never met him before. And you would think that would click, but it doesn't. So
that's a mental awareness thing, people. That's a mental awareness thing. If you go back, people, and watch the live I did yesterday, you'll see how I broke it down and how I put it into an addiction. And I went through 3 separate types of addiction, and I went through one with myself. And there was a guy with a gambling problem that was up there. And then we broke it down to the addiction to YouTube and trying to fit in with others. So that gave you there's 3 examples of addiction right there, people, and how it can jack you up mentally. So, go check that out. And then this is the after of that, so you can speak, and you got some good things here. So I kind of set it up like that so people can go and boom, and then boom right there. Well, I do thank you for stopping on by. I would like to have you on periodically, but go ahead and drop some knowledge and some jewels. I love all of that stuff, and I'm gonna let you know how I do this here when it's about to go on out. People, if you are brand new to me on the live or the interview section, I hit you with one of these. Until the next caper. And then we leave like this. If you are from my era, people, we used to watch this man. I'm signing out like Chuck Woolery in 2 and 2.